Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to see a function in a C language. So what is a function? So function is a self-contained block of statement that perform a coherent task of some kind, or we can say we have to hire one person to do a job for us. Example, if we look in this particular main function, if I want to print that actually I am in main function. I'm giving /n, that is a new line tab, semicolon. And if I run this program by pressing F11, so it will directly compile and run. So it will tell me that I am in a main function. Okay. So now what we required to do something that our program wants repeatedly. Example for if I want something to print in using function. So I'm going to take suppose function underscore one. So this is a function and I am calling in here. So where we have to go? We have to go right below the main function where I am going to declare here another one function name as function one. So I'm going to write inside it printf. So now what we are going to write, I am in function one. So /n for the new line character, semicolon is a statement terminator. So you can see here I have written here a function one, that is has a syntax function one. This will be the name of the function, open bracket, close bracket, and a semicolon. So this is the place where I have called the function, and below the main function I have defined the function. So function definition is very simple: int function one. You can have a void function one as well, bracket open bracket close and the curly bracket where I need to execute this particular statement. So if I press Ctrl S for saving and F11 for running, it will tell me that first of all it will declare us or print us I am in function one, and then it is going to print I am in main function. You can see because I have called function one here, that's why it control goes towards the function. So where the function is defined over here, in that I have gave the printf statement that will print the line I am in function one, and then it will go to print, means the control after this curly braces control goes to the main function where it has left, and it will take the place of the next statement and it will execute the next statement, printf statement. So I am in main function. So we can do, if I take the main function by Control X, and if I go here, if I paste in here, I will remove the blank spaces, so it will like a bad programming to have a more and more blank spaces. So F11. So now I am in main function and I am in function one. So this will be the execution. How? Because I have print the first statement and then I am going for the function one. So this is the way the function is called in main function, and this is the function definition where we can write a block of statements, or a single statement can also help. So why I've called that we have to hire one person to do some specific job, because in case of a C language, if we have to build a big project, in that there are several tasks. So we cannot tell the main function to do all the tasks alone. So we can have a small functions that will do some subtask. Example, here the function one, it will do a subtask of printf I am in function one. So how many functions you can write inside a C language? Infinity. The answer is infinity. So look at here, I'm going to write function 2. You can say function 2 curly bracket, open, close, and semicolon. I have called function 2, and then I'm going to declare here int function underscore 2, curly open, curly close. This is the definition. So where I am going to print, what I'm going to print, I am in, we need double quote in here, I am in function 2. So after that I will end it. We need to have a separate line for each printf statement. So I am giving a new line character and then F11. So it will compile and give us the result. So look at here, I am in main function, I am in function 1, and I am in function 2. So though I have called the function 1 here and function 2 in here, that is after the function 1, and the declaration, we can say the definition, I have defined the function 2 first and then the function 1. So it is not needed to define the function 1 first and function 2 first. You can have many function over here. So I can say function 1 I can declare here, or we can say function 2 in here. So you can call any function anywhere in the main as well as inside the other functions as well. And the function definition, you can have function 2 definition first, then the function 1 definition. It will not going to get disturbed. So it will execute according to your logic. So you can see here, so depending upon which function you have called, it will give us the results. So wherever the definitions are, again, can we define the function inside a function? Yes, it is possible. So look at here, I am going to delete this, and I have the definition of function 2 actually. So this function definition 2, it should be beneath the definition of the function 1. Why it is so? Because we are going to call the, so I'm going to call the function underscore 2, bracket open, bracket close. So look at that. If we run it, you will see that I am in main function first, I am in function 1, and I am in function 2. So this will be the print statements. So you can see what I have done. I have print the first, I am in main function, then I have called the function 1. In that function 1, I have printed the statement that I am in function 1, and then I have called function 2. Then I have defined the function 2 and so on. So why I have done this, that the function 2 is called over here and the function definition is over here. So this is due to the fact that whenever we call the function, it should be below, the definition should be below, so where the control transfer will be there and the back transfer will be again in function 1, and from that it will again in main function, and there is nothing to do, then the program get exited. So what we can do, we can call function 1 in this particular what we can call definition. What will happen, let's look. So you will be in the infinite loop. So that's why I've said that you have to take care where you are declaring the functions and defining the functions. Okay, so what we can do is that we can have the function 2 first. If you have to declare it, function 2 first, you can call here function 1, and you can here a function 1. So here we have to made some changes. This is the function 2 and this is the function 1. So what I have done, I have declared function 2 in here, and in that I have called function 1. So function 1 definition is here, I am in function 1. So if we run it, what will happen? So it will print I am in main function and I am in function 1. why it is doing so? Like we have not called the function 2. What we have done, we have not called the function 2. So what we have done, we have defined the function 2, but we have not used it. It will not affect the programming at all. So if by default you have defined the function and if you have not called, it will not affect anything. So what we can do is that we have to call the function 2 as well. So we are going to call the function 2 in here. So what will happen now? It will print I am in main function. Then it will go to the function 1 where I am in function 1 is there. Then it will go to the main function again, function 2. It will go in here, I am in function 2, and again it will go to the function 1, I am in function 1. So we'll run it. So you can see here there is no loop at all. Why there is no loop at all? Because I am in function 1. This definition is below the function 2. So if I place the function 1 definition above and I've called from below, then there will be indefinite loop. Or in case of any other compiler, that will give some errors that the programming is like not good. So now what we have seen is that in case of C language, the default function is there, main function. So this is the by default function, and the function that is calling the functions, that is called as a calling function, and the function that is over here that we have called from the main function is called as a called function. So the main is a calling function for function 1 and function 2, and the function 2 and function 1, these are the called function for main. In case of function 1, you can see the function 1 is, we can say, a called function for function 2 and main, because function 1 is called inside function 2 as well as in main. So we can say the function which calls is called as a calling function, and the definition is called as a called function. So in this case, we can call number of functions depending upon your program. I can say the function can call indefinite functions, but in case of a calling function, that the calling function should be defined. So it should be defined if in this particular example the function 1 is defined below function 2, as we have called function 1 in function 2. So we have to define the function below the calling function, the called function. So function 1 is a called function, while this function 2 is calling function for function 1. So it should be defined below the function 2. So the definition should be below the calling functions. So this is the way the functions are in case of a C programs. So you can see from this particular program that C must have at least one function. So we can say the main function is always there. So if there are so many functions, or we can say one or more functions, the one must be a main. So we have a main function in here, and the others, these are the actually functions. So there is no limit to have the number of functions inside a C program. Each functions in a C program is called in a sequence specified by the functions call in a main. So we can see function 1 in here. We have to write function 1 in here actually in case of a function 2, and then the function 2, it should be in here. But in our case, what we have done, we have called the function 1 here. So the sequence should be like this. So this should be a function 1 and this should be the function 2. So I am just changing the printf statements as well. So this is the right sequence. So if someone else is come in your place, so he or she will definitely understand what you are trying to say by calling the function 1 first. So definition of function 1 is first, calling the function 2, so definition of function 2 is here. So this is the way the good programming is. So we can say in case of the main function is always on the top. There is another way, we can see it later on, that if you have to do the definition of the functions anywhere you want, you can do it. So there is a other part where we have to like declare the function, call the function, and define the function. So what we are doing here is the calling the functions and function definitions. So the declaration we will see in the latter part. In this case, the function 1, we can write function 1, function 2 inside a main function, as well as we can call the function 2 inside a function 1. So whatsoever your sequence are, you can call the function within the function. There is other case where if you have to call function 1 within function 1, that particular concept is called as a recursion. So we are going to see that recursion part later on. Now the problem remains as it is, why we are using the functions, why we need to understand the functions in particular C language. So in case of a programmer, we try to avoid rewriting the same code over and over, or we can say again and again. So what we can do, we can have a specific code. It should be declared as a function, and that statement, we can say the repeated one statement, should be goes over there like a task. Like we have to calculate, simple example, if you have to calculate the area of a circle. So in your programming, you have to calculate the area of circle 10 times. So what you can do, you can write a single function for the area of a circle, and then you can call that function wherever you want. So there is no need to write again and again to calculate the area of circle. So that function will return the result. When you send the radius to the function, it will return the result to us. So in this way, the space, we can say the size, and the typing efforts, it will be saved. So that will be a good programming. So now using function, it becomes very easier to write programs and keep track what you are doing in the programming. So if the operation of a program can be divided into separate activities, each activity placed in a different function, and then each could be written and checked more or less independently. So separating the code into modular functions also makes the program easier to design and understand. So what we can do, we can see one example where actually what we can do with the area of a circle. So if we have to find out the area of a circle using the function, how we can use it. So in here I'm going to print that we are doing area calculations. For that I'm going to take a function area underscore 1. I'm taking underscore 1 as I don't know that the area function is library functions or not. You should know the difference between the functions that we are using, uh, like printf, scanf, main. These are the library functions. This is already stored. In case of this compiler, we cannot use it because it will make confused with the library functions and the user defined functions, and these are the functions that the user means I have created. This is called as a user defined function. So this is the library functions, and we cannot use it. It is stored in a library, and this is user defined function, so we can use it. So I'm afraid that the area will be the user library functions or not, so I'm going to take the underscore 1. So now here the area 1 is the function in here. So what we can do is here we can initialize the pi value as 3.14 comma, then we have to take the value of r. So I'm taking r, and we are going to calculate area. So this is the variables in here. So we can say mm, area calculations. So I'm going to print, but I'm going to print area of a circle is percentage f slash n for the new line, and what I'm going to print area calculation is equal to pi into r into r. So this is the way I can have the formula directly in here, pi r square. It will be given value to the area underscore cal, and it will going to get printed. So the area one is the function. I have called it the main function, that is called as a calling function, and this is the definition, called functions. Okay, so control s, and we are going to run it, f11. So we are going to get here area calculations. Area of a circle is 0.0000. Why it is getting a 0.00? We don't declare the r's value, so we'll run it. So r is 1, so area of circle is 3.14. So now this is one way to transfer the control to the area 1. If we want to transfer the control with the argument, we can say the argument. So here if I write the value, suppose I have to take the radius as 2, suppose. So this is called as a actual argument in case of a function area 1, and this will be a formal argument. I am taking x. So or we can take r as well. So it will be very simple that the r value is coming from the area 1 function. So this 2 is called as a actual argument. We are going to send this actual argument to the main we can say a function area underscore 1, and this is called as a formal argument. It will take the value of 2 into r, and it will going to get calculated inside this function. So I'm going to run it. So r value is 2. So now 2 into 2, it becomes a 4, and multiply by 3.14 becomes a 12.56 something. So this is the way we can have a actual argument inside the function, and we have a formal argument in the function, that is called a function definition. So this is the way the Kernighan and Ricci, we can say KNR method. We can have the other method where it is very popular, that is called ANSI method. So I'm going to declare it as an int. Okay, so I'm going to run it. So the result is same, but what we have actually in here, the 2 from here it goes to the r, but the r is int. So we can have the variable data type in here. So this is called ANSI method of taking the argument, that is called as a formal argument. So what we have seen in this particular part is that if we need to calculate the area, we can have area underscore 1 function, where if we don't want to pass argument to it, we cannot pass. We can have directly the value in here, the r is equal to 1 we have taken, and we have calculated the area. Then what we can do, we can pass the value from function, main function, by calling the area underscore 1 by like giving 2. We have passed it to just r, so it becomes like k and r method. So it is also calculating the area with r is equal to 2. Then what we have done, we have taken integer r is a data type of the variable r. So this is the ANSI method, and this is a popular one. So both, all of the three, that gives the same result, but this is the way the function works. So as I have told you that we don't need to calculate the area again and again. So by just giving the values to it, so it can print the result for us. You can see here I have given first 2 radius, it will calculate the value. I have given the radius as 3, it will calculate the value. So same function we can call so many times, we can say indefinite times, it will give us the result. So this is the power of a function, that the function will help us to minimize the typing efforts, to minimize the code size, to minimize the memory of our processor. So this is the way the function is.